Hello and welcome. I'm Emily and this is my co-host Chewy, and today on Admirable Animals we have a very special episode for you. Today we'll be delving into the history of the human relationship with the animal affectionately known as man's best friend, the domestic dog, or more formally known as Canis lupus familiaris. As we are talking about the origins of Chewy's bloodline, he will be helming most of today's episode.
A member of the genus Canis, which means dog in Latin, yet this genus contains multiple extant species not limited to the domestic dog, but also includes wolves and coyotes. Humans have been looking after dogs since the Stone Age, at least 24,000 BC, well before the beginning of farming. The oldest fossils of a domesticated dog are from a 14,000-year-old grave, yet DNA evidence suggests dogs diverged from wolves much earlier than that, with estimates ranging from 15,000 to 100,000 years ago. Historians agree that dogs are the first domesticated animal, making them a human's oldest, as well as best friend. The instigator of this friendship was likely the dogs, as they hung around people's campsites way back when trying to pinch their garbage to eat.
Most people would have tried to scare the dogs away, but some let them hang around, and the dogs proved useful in eating rats and cleaning up human waste like food garbage that would attract flies and other insects, thus possibly preventing disease through cleaner and healthier campsites in comparison to those without dogs. Our dog-loving ancestors may have fared better reproductively through fewer people getting dysentery and dying, as well as the dogs providing a warning system for when attacking strangers were approaching, even helping with hunting so that those with dogs were better fed than those without. These people would in turn produce little humans who were genetically inclined to like dogs, growing up in social groups where they're individually adapted to having dogs, and dogs were accepted, the end result being a change in the human-wolf relationship, where humans no longer looked at wolves as predators or prey, but as companions and allies, and the wolves no longer seeing humans as competitors, but as friends.
The domesticated dog is a real example of how artificial selection and natural selection can work together to produce a completely new animal.
Hunter-gatherers having a soft spot for cute wolf cubs and then adopting them is a common assumption of why dogs became domesticated, although scientists cannot fully confirm this.
Pet-keeping history is consistent with the biophilia hypothesis that suggests humans possess an intrinsic propensity to seek connections with nature, and humans who liked or at least enjoyed the company of animals in our distant past most likely had a survival advantage. Scholar Raymond Coppinger believes a behavioural trademark called flight distance was essential to the change from wild wolf to the precursors of the advanced pooch. It speaks to how close an animal will permit people, or whatever else it sees as perilous, to get before it flees.
Animals with shorter flight distances will linger and feed when people are close by. This behavioural trait would have been passed on to successive generations and amplified, making animals that are progressively more agreeable around people. Just as there are many different breeds of dogs seen around the world, the cultural perception of dogs in different countries varies widely across time and place, with some stark comparisons. People would likely be surprised to find that, as well as being the location of possibly the worst act of genocide in human history, Nazi Germany was one of the first places in the modern world to put in place strict animal care regulations. Many Nazi leaders, including Hitler, were supporters of animal rights and conservation. Species protection and animal welfare were significant issues in the Nazi regime, and even if you were German, if you violated the Nazi animal welfare law, you were sent to a concentration camp. Hitler himself was very fond of, you guessed it, German shepherds, and doted on his dog named Blondie. In present-day South Korea, Cambodia, China, Japan, and Thailand, consumption of dogs is normal practice, mostly consumed in stew or soup form and also commonly taken in liquid form.
This has been widely reviled by Western societies who find the practice of consuming dogs unconscionable.
In westernised countries such as the US, UK, and Australia, dogs are generally perceived almost exclusively as pets and are well-loved members of the family, although they initially played out an assortment of vital parts like pulling carts, protecting and helping control livestock, and guarding properties.
Yet Western civilization aren't entirely squeaky clean in their treatment of animals.
Dogs are frequently used in scientific testing, most favoured in toxicology studies where large doses of a test substance are pumped into animals' bodies, slowly poisoning them. Treating animals poorly was easy for scientists to justify when it was believed that animals do not share humans' capacity for sensation and cognition, but this is no longer the case. 17th century French philosopher René Descartes argued that only humans are conscious and not other animals. Hey René, you wrong!
Humans are not unique in possessing neurological substrates that generate consciousness. All mammals and birds possess these same neurological substrates. You can't point to an area of the brain that creates consciousness, but humans have a singular gyrus that gets to work when paying attention and focusing on their surroundings. Dogs also have this area, as do other animals. Perhaps we too can consciously pay attention. Pet keeping has been a part of human life for a very long time and will likely continue. Although having a pet may cause an assortment of costs, simultaneously humans may enjoy a range of physical, social and psychological advantages, the genuine companionship counterbalancing any ill impacts on one's wallet.
Okay, that's all we have time for today, but thank you so much for joining us. We hope it's been informative and we'll see you next time. Say hi to your mum for me.